Good afternoon, guys. This is Working, bringing you a quick update on EOS. I hope you guys are having a great week, getting ready for a great weekend. Looking at EOS to the dollar, guys. 4-hour chart, Bitfinex up at the moment, and last time we spoke, EOS was sitting right on top of this $7 support. I said more than likely we were going to see, it was looking extremely weak. I said more than likely we were going to see price break down. I said there was a chance that we were going to head down to this $6 support zone down in here. And of course, we did see price break down, which stopped at about 650, and then we got a very, very nice looking bounce, guys. And I want you to notice that this is what a bounce should look like. I'm not saying that we are definitely going to continue to the upside, but this is a very, very nice, impulsive looking, healthy looking bounce. And I want you to compare that to these in the past. This is what manipulation looks like over here. This is just pure, straight up in a straight line, all in one shot, done in about an hour, and then done. And then we repeat and repeat. This is manipulation. This is a very, very healthy looking start. Now, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, guys. I'm not saying that, the bulls are back and we're heading up to all-time highs again. No, I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I'm not seeing any evidence that we are. I mean, the market as a whole still looks fairly weak, even though we are getting a nice little pump. So, in the short term, guys, there's probability-wise, we may see price continue to the upside. I can't deny this was a very, very nice looking bounce, a very impulsive looking, healthy looking bounce, guys. And this didn't look like all manipulation. This just looked very, very healthy. So, so where are we heading next, guys? Where's price heading next? Remember, big picture wise, we are looking at, in my opinion, sorry guys, that was my prior analysis I was referencing before this. Big picture wise, we are looking at this large channel that the price has been in since its high of $23. We can see it's just been unable to break out of this channel. It's tried one, two, at least 3 times, and it's just been unable to. I discussed on my last update, we were more than likely this was an X wave. This was a failed wave, so we're in the middle of a WXY pattern. This second pattern here, I explained last time, was an ABCDE more than likely, and we were looking for the bottom of E to complete our WXY pattern. Excuse me. So that's big picture what we're looking at. So coming back here, zooming back in here on the 4-hour, have we seen, is this finally the bottom of our E wave? Have we seen the bottom of our E wave? It's very possible, guys. Let me just show you what I'm looking at here. If we draw our swing high to swing low, there we go. We can see that price is respecting these fib levels just perfectly so far. Granted, it's extremely early. Obviously, I say fib levels. It has respected the first fib level of the 236. So that's a bullish sign. That tells me that we are seeing. At least we're seeing some structure again in the market. At least things are starting to make sense. I mean, this is the crypto market, so it's starting to make sense as much as it can in the crypto market. So that's a very bullish sign. Now, normally I'd expect to see a target of at least the 382, and we may see that. This may just be a wave 1 and a subwave of a larger wave 1. So we're going to see how this plays out, guys. But assuming this is our first impulse wave up, assuming this, even though it may be a subwave of a larger first wave, assuming this is a subwave of the beginning of an impulse wave up, we pull our fib, and we go swing low, swing high. Let me just zoom in here a little bit, guys, so you can get a little better look. What are we looking at here? Again, it's respecting these fib levels. We had it just sitting right on top of the 236. Excuse me. Now it's heading down more than likely. If we can get a bounce off of the 382, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you guys. Even given that we have this $7 support here, that's a great psychological support. We know that's support based on how price was acting right around in this area. So based on that, we may see how that support jives with the 382. We may see a bounce off the 382 and then continue to the upside to test this $7 to 730 to 770 resistance zone up in here. That's a real possibility. I wouldn't be surprised to see it come down though to the 0.5 fib level. Typically on a wave 2, probability-wise, the wave is going to end up somewhere between the 0.5 and the 618 fib level. That's just probability-wise, it's about 40% or 40, somewhere to 40-50%. I'd have to look that up, to be honest. It's been a while since I've looked it up, but somewhere around 40 to 50% of the waves end up in that zone of wave 2, I should say. 40% of waves 2 end up in that zone. So only about 8 to 10% end up hitting, actually I think it's 8 to 12, something like that, end up hitting the 382 fib level. So still that's 10, 12%. That's still a real possibility. Regardless, so far this is looking like a healthy correction. This looks like a very nice 1. We're looking like a 2, and then we'd be up for the 3. Remembering 3 is the longest and the strongest, often the longest and the strongest wave. So excuse me one second, guys. Let me clear my throat. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So I'm expecting more than likely this to retrace to about the 382, between the 382 to possibly the 0.5, possibly even the 618. More than probability-wise, we're coming down to between the 0.5 and the 618. So somewhere between, maybe somewhere around 690, somewhere thereabouts. I'd start looking for that bounce. If we get it earlier, if we get it right around $7. Now again, because we have that resistance right there. Excuse me. Yeah, what is acting as resistance now? That resistance, or excuse me, gosh, guys, it was a late night. I had my my AC blew out last night, and we just had a brand new AC system, a ridiculously expensive new AC system installed. We're up here in our condo up north, and yeah, it's anyway. That was a whole fiasco. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, guys, so I apologize. Anyway, let me get back. You guys don't care about that. You just want to know about EOS. So, given the fact that we've got this 382 fib level overlapping with the $7 support, that tells me that maybe probability-wise we may get a bounce off of that. But again, don't be surprised if we see price dip down into about 690 or thereabouts before we get a nice little bounce up. And I'm not saying we're going to get a bounce, guys. If we don't see volume increase, it's all about volume. You've got to have the buyers. You've got to have buyers in the market, and we can see over the last, we're looking at the 4-hour here, so we can see over 12 hours now, buyers have just dropped off. Now again, this looks like a nice healthy correction, so that's to be expected. But if we don't see a massive increase in volume here very shortly to support that bounce, it's not going to happen, and then it's just going to more than likely meander around the $7 support, somewhere thereabouts, kind of up and down as it did right here. Excuse me. And then if that does happen, guys, then I think more than likely it may just end up breaking to the downside. But the way it looks right now, guys, I'm not saying it is going to happen, but my bias is, and more than likely I'm looking for a bounce into this area. Now, when it does bounce, are we going to get a nice, strong, impulsive wave 3? I certainly hope so, because we're going to need that wave 3 to break through this 730 to 770 resistance zone here. If we look at the daily, you can get a little better idea of what kind of resistance that we're looking at. There we go. So we can see here it acted as very, very, very strong support. So I would expect it to act as a strong resistance on the way up. Second reason I'm looking at this as a stronger resistance is if let me get rid of that fib level there. If I go for my swing high to swing low again, let me just go wick to wick. Yeah, hopefully you guys can see the wicks there. You just have to trust me if you can't. We can see that this zone here, this 730 zone, jives nicely with the 382 fib level. Going up with the 382 fib level. So this is going to act more than likely as strong support, or excuse me, resistance. Apologize, guys. Strong resistance, more than likely between 730 and 770. So we're going to need that longest and strongest wave of wave 3, if that is in fact what turns out, to break through that. Let me get back to our 4-hour here. So what I'm looking at here, guys, Elliott style, we're looking at, let me bring this in here. Yes, I just said Elliott style, for those of you that caught that. They were looking at possibly a 1, 2. Now, again, I said it's likely, probability-wise, it's going to retrace to about 690 or thereabouts. Again, we're just playing the odds. It could be earlier, it could be slightly later, but just playing the odds. And then we're coming up for a wave 3. And this wave 3, if it is the longest and the strongest, and we do get volume to support, guys, it should bring us through that 0.3 and that 0.5 and bring us nicely above this 7.30 to 7.70 resistance. If that does end up happening, guys, remember on the big picture chart, we're trying to break out of this massive descending trend line here, this massive descending channel that we've been in. If it does in fact end up breaking above that 770 support, we can see that if we look at the channel here, that's going to be right around 770 is the top of that support. So if we can get above that, we'd be outside the channel, guys, and now EOS is going to get extremely interesting for me. I'm going to get extremely interested if we can break above that, guys. Also, remember I told you on our last update, we are keeping an eye on this RSI. Well, let me bring up the daily. Looking at the daily RSI, guys, remember we're in this descending resistance line here. We are wanting to make sure that we can break up above this resistance. I told you last time I'm going to get very interested in EOS if one of two things happen. One, we can break out of this massive resistance line on the RSI, and two, if we can break out of this massive descending channel. So if both of those things happen, guys, I'm going to start looking at EOS very, very strongly. Again, very, very, very strongly. But, you know, it still has a ways to go, guys. So once it gets close to this massive descending resistance line on the RSI, guys, expect a possible bounce. Be ready for a bounce. If you're playing a quick short, or if you're playing a quick day trade, a quick scalp trade, guys, once it approaches this zone, get ready for a bounce, guys. I would have my, I'd have my targets right in that area. I'd have it ready to go right in that area, wherever that ends up being. So just something to keep an eye on. Pull up our histogram here. Looking at our daily histogram, there we go. At the moment, it's looking rather neutral. Actually, it's looking extremely neutral at the moment, so it really could break in either direction. Looking at the 4 hour. 4 hours looking a little bullish. Possibly wanting to trend back up, but the MACD and signal line are looking rather bullish, and we could just continue to the upside. So really nothing good. And we can see that the histogram is continuing to trend up. That's a bullish sign. We can see we did have, I wish I would have gotten this out to you guys yesterday. We obviously had very serious bullish divergence on the 4 hour MACD. We also had it on the RSI. So, you know, this was telling us, this was screaming at us yesterday that we were just looking for a bottom. Once you see bullish divergence like that on the 4 hour, you can just expect a nice little bounce to come. And we got the same thing on Bitcoin the other day. I believe, actually yesterday, I believe it was. So, and we know EOS is following Bitcoin almost perfectly, guys. So even though this chart so far is looking rather bullish, if Bitcoin drops, EOS is going to drop right along with it. In fact, let me get rid of this and just show you what I'm talking about, just to show you how similar these two charts are. If I pull over here to Bitcoin, I mean, look at this. Look at this. We racked up, drop, sideways, drop, and now an impulse wave up. What do we got with EOS? Sitting up here, drop, sideways, drop, and now we just, I mean, they're just a clone of each other. So, I mean, guys, it's going to be very interesting to see where this heads. If Bitcoin drops, I do expect EOS to drop right along with it. However, as of right now, EOS is looking, I mean, it's looking textbook. It's looking just 1, 2, and boom. I'm expecting a possible 3 wave to come. Now, I'm not saying that 3 is going to break through this 730. As long as we can have that volume to back it up, then yes, then more than likely we're going to break through the 730 to 770 support or resistance zone here. But this is going to be a strong resistance. This is going to be a major test for the bulls. If the bulls are back, and if the bulls really are in this for the long haul, and we've seen the bottom, and here we go on up, we've got to break through this resistance line here. And if we can decisively break through this resistance line, in fact, I would love to see if we can just see this thing tear right through, not manipulation-wise, I mean, not like this massive candle just jumping right through, because that's just going to be manipulation, guys. If I see that, I'm going to expect a drop very, very shortly right afterwards. But if we see a nice-looking impulsive move up the way it is here, where it just kind of slowly, continuously steps up, little by little by little, that's going to get me extremely excited, guys. So let's just wait and see how this ends up playing out. If we don't see this, if we end up retracing below, let's see here, pull our fib here again, bring this up. If we end up retracing, let me pull this down here, guys. Sorry about that. If we end up retracing below the 618, guys, then unfortunately, I think more than likely we are going to come back down. Possibly create a double bottom. That would set up the possibility for a double bottom, guys. So we could see it come back down, test it, and then another nice impulse wave up. That'd be very, very possible. I'm just saying, if we do see it drop below the 618, then likely we are going to come back down and maybe looking for a double bottom in this area. If that double bottom fails, or if we just kind of meander here to the side, then more than likely we're going to continue down to the $6. But for now, things are looking rather bullish, looking like a nice bullish setup. If we can get volume to follow through and we get that nice bounce, especially if we get that bounce off the 0.5 or off the 618, then that's going to be a very, very bullish sign to me. That's going to tell me that there is structure returning to the market, and that that we can start, you know, at least being a little more optimistic than we have been. So I'm cautiously optimistic, guys. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but cautiously optimistic. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it here, guys. Until next time, be safe. This is Working, signing out.